But do you kind of get what it is? Do you know the difference between a pattern interrupt and a break state? No. All right, you want me to show you? Yeah. And it is pretty useful. I mean, I use this a lot, just to get people out of a box that they're in, you know? If you want a real quick fix to get people out of a box, I use a pattern interrupt. And there's one story of Anthony Robbins, quite famous motivational speaker. He's been trained in NLP. And it's not in your manuals, by the way, this one. So if you look in your manuals, it's not there. Yeah. You won't need any notes for this, I promise you. It's a real easy thing to remember. So there's Anthony Robbins, and he's doing his thing. And a woman puts up her hand. She has a problem. Okay, what's the problem? And she starts saying that, she's really depressed, and starts telling a story about being really depressed, and it's like this. And he's just kind of like listening to the story, and it's going on like that. And she says, yeah, this is what I'm really depressed. And he kind of walks up to her and he goes, whoa! Like that. She goes, what did you do? What did you just do to me? He says, I'm real sorry, ma'am. I have a little aqua Tourette's or something. I don't know. I don't know what happened there. I'm sorry. I said, continue, please continue. And she goes, well, the story of my life, and it all was really bad, and everything happened. And he goes like that again. Wow! What are you doing? I'm soaking head to foot now. I'm real sorry, ma'am. I don't know what came over. I think I tripped or something. Did anybody see me? I don't know. Oh, well, I'm real sorry. We'll get the bill. We'll get the bill. But please continue. Yeah. Well, my life's been really bad, and it's so many things have happened to me. And does it again. Same thing. Asks her to continue once again. So this time she goes, well, I just got a picture of you throwing water all over me now. Oh, but please, we wanted to hear what your story was. But I can't tell it now. Why? Well, I just, I just see water everywhere every time I kind of think of my problem. Oh, okay, cool. So I took this notion into, Adam and I have a mutual trainer friend called Richard. And Richard had, albeit he's an NLP trainer, he had his everlasting story that all of the trainers have been working on him over a period of years to kind of clear it out. Okay, so we knew, kind of during a training it would happen sometime around the year. I've just got this problem's happening with me, and we'd be sparring partners for him, and then we'd just do everything that we can, and it never went away. This thing was never going away for him. So one day, Richard and I were evaluating students to be trainers, and I happened to be with him, and we're in this corridor together waiting to get some people in. And he starts telling me the story again. I feel really sad about this. And I said, Richard, just give me the ABC. What exactly happens? Now I'm thinking strategies right here. Give me the ordinals, the ABC. How does he do this? And he says, well, what happens is, it says I pick up the phone, and I'm listening to my ex-wife on the phone. And I'm thinking about our old relationship, and I feel really sad, like that. I said, oh, okay. Just slow it down for me. Just slow that down for me, because he said that quite quickly. Can you slow that down for me? He goes, yeah. I pick up the phone, and I'm talking to my wife, my ex-wife, and I'm thinking about it, and I went, whoa, like that, whoa, and plastered myself against the wall, like that. He goes, whoa! What did you do that for? I said, I don't know, it just came upon me. So tell me about the problem again, Richard. Well, I've told you a couple of times already, but anyway, I pick up the phone, I'm listening to my ex-wife on the phone, I think about it, and I just got a picture of you on the wall now. You're just splattered all over the wall like that Evo stick advert. So he couldn't do the ordinals. He couldn't get to the last bit where he felt really bad. Same thing with a guy in Australia. I was in America doing my trainer's training with this Australian guy there, and he was one of the top martial arts experts in his country. I think he was number 2 or something. And he's the guy that could make the hands go, and you would really hear the noise. Because they kind of dub that noise in on the movies. They move the hands really good. But he could really make the noise when his arms moved. He was like, whoa. Yeah. And he had some kind of special practice that he was doing that, don't ask me why, I got a couple of clues, but in his practice, he was also practicing being awake in his dreams. So when he slept at night, he slept with one foot out of the bed, and he put an image of himself up in the top of the corner of the room. That's how he slept. That's how serious these guys were about their practice. It's about, I don't know, it's about practicing being awake in your sleep or something like that. But I'm just giving you the seriousness of this guy. And also, at home, his dad, doing a kind of a dad thing, tried to surprise him one day. And dad's one of those dad things. They creep in the room on a Sunday, you're in bed, and they jump on your bed and tickle you or something like that. So, yeah, didn't your dad ever do that? Or something similar? Or was your dad the kind of shake my hand and then he goes, you had one of those dads? I know, dads, you're going to do something like that somewhere down the line. My dad was pull your finger. That was pull my finger. That's your dad. All right, you're not going to tell me what your dad did. Okay, fine. All right. I'll keep that secret. So his dad, he does this Sunday morning thing, creeps in the room, goes to jump on the bed, but the son's doing his I'm awake thing, awake in his sleep. So in his periphery, even though he's asleep, he sees somebody jumping on him. So he grabs him and throws him through the wall. Dad's embedded in the wall. So this guy's pretty tough, huh? Anyway, the trainer's training, his ex-girlfriends, they're at the trainer's training. He won a trainer's training together, and he's getting really emotional about it because he sees her around the place. And this tough guy's getting really emotional. So I said, look, this isn't very useful for your training because, you've got to be really fit to get through this, You've got a lot of stuff to remember and you've got to have a good state. So I said, do you want to do something about that? He said, yeah, or whatever. But I left it a day or two so he kind of wouldn't know I was up to something. And same thing I did with Richard. I said, show me how you do it. Tell me how you do that. Strategies again. So he went through the ABC, almost identical to Richard's thing. But before he got to the K, I ran for the phone and picked up the phone and went, whoa! With the phone. And he just went, whoa! He was so confused because he didn't know whether to fight or flight or what to do. And bosh. And then I knew his girlfriend was down. We had a balcony that looked over the pool where we were. And I knew his girlfriend was there. I said, look, come here. Just come and have a look over the balcony here. So he looked over the balcony. There's his girlfriend. I went, oh, okay. Yeah, it's cool. The pattern had been interrupted. So I got lucky on with Richard and with, I can't remember the guy's name because it was a while ago, 1999. That other guy, the Australian guy, I was lucky. At one time it worked. It was a one-time thing. With the story with Anthony Robbins, it was kind of like 3, wasn't it? He had to do it 3 times before the interrupt became part of the pattern. And that's why it's called a pattern interrupt. The pattern, well, technically, a pattern interrupt is where the interrupt becomes part of the pattern. Got that? So in terms of ordinals, it goes AB water or AB shock instead of AB. Yeah, you can't do the thing anymore. You can't do the end if it's strategy. When you're installing a strategy, a new strategy, you've got to put another piece in there, like we were doing for you, wasn't it, for you yesterday? So instead of you going da 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 AD, we do AD da 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 da. A new piece. And as long as it kind of gets in there into the neurology, it's going to work. It'll work in that way because everything's strategies. There's a strategy for upset, strategy for love, strategy for hate. Everything, all experience has a structure, in other words. So all experiences have a strategy to them. Yeah. So if you be
clusters of types of experience. I thought you said there's a strategy for love or a strategy for shopping or a strategy for getting upset.
Yeah.
Does that mean, most people tend to sort of go down a certain strategic route when they think about something that upsets them?
Yeah, you'll have your library of strategies for various different things. So you'll have your library for love, for deep love, may be different for your library of buying or selling, you know, but it could be the same, but it might also be different. So you can have your library of strategies, which may change over time as well. But there's always an A, B, and a C to experience, how you experience things. The way you learn has a strategy to it. I mean, I used to have a terrible learning strategy. It was awful. Yeah. No, no. No, the good thing with strategies is obviously you can change them. Generally you can change them now this is the beauty of where NLP comes in, because strategies don't normally work unless you've cleared out the cupboards of what was causing them in the first place, if they're negative. Normally a strategy won't change an emotional behavior. Changing a strategy normally won't change an emotional behavior. What you've got to do is clear out the cupboard first and then do the strategy, which is what we're mostly the backdrop of what we're doing here. For instance, with Judy, we didn't do anything. Now, the thing with the paper that she had, we haven't necessarily done that. But what we did do is we got out of the box of the brain freeze about it. So now she can have a strategy. But in the brain freeze, there's no chance for a strategy. You can't do strategies with brain freeze. That ain't going to work. It's too... The box is too tight for any movement. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say it's normally the other way around. You get the emotional upset first, and then you can't do a strategy. Yeah. In other words, it's your response to the environment which is going to cause the brain freeze in the first place, which will then cause you not to have a good strategy, to embed poor strategies. But I mean, think of a baby, put it that way. If they haven't got a problem with things, they'll work it out. But as soon as they've got a big emotional problem with it, they're not going to have a strategy to deal with it. So as long as their state is kept well, eventually they'll find ways of doing things always. But we're the same, we're just bigger babies, aren't we? Really. We've got more sophisticated ways of dealing with our upsets, so nobody knows. I can't do it. No, I just don't choose to do those things anymore, actually. I feel above them. It's just not my cup of tea. Okay, so everyone good with that?